It's my fellow enthusiast. Welcome back to another episode of After My Day Job. Man, I had to be honest, today has been one of those days. Today seemed like my team was pulling me from all different directions, cross-functional people asking all different questions about deadlines, manufacturing companies asking me questions about my clothing brand, where it's at. It's been crazy. All of that to say, I'm super excited to be taking some time to be with you and talk about how to identify your hobbies and encourage you to turn them into passion projects. Today's podcast caters to three groups: those unfamiliar with hobbies but want to define their own, individuals aware of their hobbies but unsure which to pursue, and those who've mastered their hobbies but want to integrate more purpose into them. Let's start with being clear about what hobbies to pursue. Steve Jobs once said that, I'm trying to remember how he said it, the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking. Don't settle. You'll know when you find it. That's my blessing for you on today. Pursue only those things that bring you joy. And what are those to you, right? Some of you may not know, but you will get closer to knowing by the end of this episode, or at least I hope. That means I've done my job well. My hobbies sprouted from my talents and curiosities, and this is why I strongly believe in going after things that bring you joy. I taught myself graphic design. I was very curious about shapes and colors, and I also wanted to compete against my second oldest brother, who is, in my personal opinion, one of the most gifted artists. He was really good with Microsoft Paint. Yeah, shout out to Microsoft Paint. And I couldn't do what he did. And so I tested out Microsoft PowerPoint, and that's how I started to play around. Like, I couldn't draw like him, but I tried. And in trying, I found out that I could design logos instead. And I taught myself, again, all of this on Microsoft PowerPoint. Shout out to Microsoft PowerPoint. No, this is not a promo. But if you want to pay me for it, I'll take it. And it became a hobby, man. And I started coming up with really cool business names, and I started designing different logos. And eventually, by the time I got to the 12th grade, I had a really cool portfolio. And when I graduated high school, the second day, I had a job offer from this amazing lady named Janet Toms. I will always give her praise for giving me an opportunity. And I was making $15 an hour as a paid intern in graphic design, working for the CIO, who was Janet Toms of Technology, who eventually became the CEO of Martin in Atlanta. So shout out to Black women out there leading in all different types of spaces where you just don't get to show up. Let's explore your interest and gauge your enthusiasm for each, which in return will help you identify potential hobbies to explore. So what has helped me construct a simple, manageable lifestyle pursuing more than one hobby and passion project is mind mapping. Today, we're going to take what's in your head and even your heart, and we're going to make it pretty clear about what to pursue. Take a bubble and put it in the center of a paper, and then draw some lines extended from that bubble. And in that bubble, put something like things I'm interested in, right? Maybe things that spark my interest. And then we're gonna give them categories. So say you're interested in painting. Well, that's an interest, but what's the category? For now, let's say it's art, okay? And then say you're interested in sewing. Well, what does that follow under? That could follow under making things, right? So say you're interested in building computers. Well, that could fall under tech and innovation, right? So you can see you have this bubble, things I'm interested in, and these lines that are coming from them. Then we have themes, right? And I'm gonna tell you why it's important to have themes and not just these wild ideas. Now, categorizing your interests is important, because what you're gonna find, very similar to me, is your interests fall under multiple categories, or they fall under the same categories. So instead of seeing this jumbo whiteboard of white paper and all of your ideas, it's easier for you to go about deciding which ones to pursue because they're more organized. It's like, oh, I like painting, I like going to galleries, but maybe my hobby is volunteering at an art gallery. And then eventually when I talk about passion projects or entrepreneurship, opening up your own. So the best way for me to pursue my hobbies and passion projects is by categories. This reminds me of when I would do something very similar, but not as mature as I'm teaching it to you today. And I would try everything I had on my board of inspiration, right? And it got to the point where I realized, hey man, you're doing too much and you can't do all of them well, so you need to draw back and choose only a few. I wasted a lot of money. People talked about me, and people doubted me whenever I came around with a really cool idea or pursuit. And look, I did things good, but I didn't do them well. And I want us to pursue our hobbies well. So how? Yeah, focus on a couple at a time, right? It doesn't mean that you can't do everything, but you can do them over time. And I talk about that in episode 4. Look, in order to do that, the next step is to go through and put a number by the things that you have mapped out, okay? What is your favorite? Start with 1 and go up from there. When you have that, use that as your decision maker, okay? On which hobbies to pursue. And look at that, my friend. We have just unclogged our minds and added to our confidence. Now, you know, you have some hobbies that you could pursue and they're sitting right in front of you. Congratulations. If you're listening to this or watching this and not following this exercise, I encourage you to go back and do this exercise. All right, let's keep going. Once you've identified the hobbies you want to pursue, it's time to create a plan to perfect them. You're like, perfect my hobbies? I thought they were just for fun. Consider this, while hobbies can be enjoyable, perfecting them enables us to acquire new skills and turn them into a purpose and even make a career or start a business out of it. Music represented my most authentic talent, but it wasn't always a strong suit. Now I know my mother and my brothers loved me very well, but they were the most brutal critics of my voice, okay? My mother withheld nothing, okay? Not one lie was ever told of my mom when it came to my singing, and it was blunt, okay? I love you, Mom. I do appreciate you, big brother, for telling me I can't sing. Sometimes what hurts us the most helps us more than we can ever imagine if we know what to do with that hurt. And so what did I do with that hurt? After healing from that, I took regular vocal lessons with a really cool coach of some of my favorite singing artists. And that became a very habitual hobby. It was bi-weekly, and it complemented my frequent karaoke sessions. And that's how I would practice. And now I'm performing at open mics. Once I was confident, I actually delved into short-term projects with this particular hobby, and that has helped me write some really cool EPs, of which I'm currently writing another one now. That leads me to my next and last topic of this episode, passion projects. Passion projects add purpose to your hobbies, making them more than just leisure activities. Short-term projects with defined timelines and goals elevates your hobbies. And I actually talk about defined timelines and goals in episode 4, where we talk about achieving ambitious goals by breaking them down into milestones and short-term projects. Now more than ever, data informs us that more people are willing to bet on themselves because they know what they want. Did you know that Pinterest was actually inspired by Silverman's hobbies of collecting? And from that, he created apps as a form of short-term projects, and then that led to Pinterest after leaving Google. So, I mean, come on guys. Hobbies can turn into passion projects can turn into entrepreneurship, and again, that's how we find value. So I encourage every listener on here to tap into your curiosities and explore more than one area of interest. When you do that, you're able to determine which ones you're most passionate about. The growth and the rewards that you find is something that education cannot teach you, or a job or a manager can instill in you. Because I gave myself permission to continue exploring, I now have my own merchandise business. I now have multiple EPs. I have funded my own art show. I've grown in ways I never knew were possible. Today's episode is the foundation for the rest of the season, and I'm super excited for the rest of the season. The rest of part 1, all the way up into episode 5, really is going to help you build upon what we did today, defining your hobbies and challenging to turn them into passion projects. In episode 3, I'm going to talk about how we execute and find time. I teach you in episode 3 about capacity planning, which is the next episode. And then in episode 4, I actually share with you on how to take your ambitious goals and break them down into milestones, achievable milestones, and to achieve your wildest dreams over time. And then episode 5, and then the rest of the season, we focus on part-time entrepreneurship and what that world looks like for me post-work. Well, this is the end of this episode. I hope this exercise has truly been able to help you get more clarity about how to define the hobbies you want to pursue and how to potentially turn them into short-term projects, and the benefits of doing such as it relates to finding value outside of work. I'll see you on the next episode. Hey, look, I'm always up to your questions. I'm always up to hearing about your experiences. I really want to know that you're learning. So please join my email list. You can communicate in this community on the YouTube channel or on our social media pages. And stay tuned, especially via that email list, for an extended workshop where we get to do more one-on-one and group activities to actually get the lifestyle you want to live post-work exactly as it should be for you.